Hey learners, welcome to Ahmad Coaching and I'm your teacher Dr. Anam. Today we will study about classification of joints. What are joints? Joint is actually a point where two bones they are going to make a contact. For example, we have this one bone and this one bone is going to make a contact with another bone like this. So this point here is actually known as joint. The joints they are classified based on the movement or based on the structure. When we talk about the structure, we are actually concerned about the connective tissue type which are present there. If we talk about the movement, there are three types of joints which are based on their movement. The first is immovable joint. Immovable joints they cannot move. Slightly movable joints they can move very slightly, while the third type is freely movable joints. It means that they can move freely and they can help in the movement of the joints easily. While in case of structure, we have three types of joints. The first one is fibrous joint, the second one is cartilaginous joint, and the third one is synovial joint. Now the thing is that these two classification schemes they are actually correlated to each other. It means that the fibrous joints they may be immovable, the cartilaginous joints they may be immovable, they may also be slightly movable. So in this way they are correlated with each other. First of all, we are going to talk about the fibrous joints which are actually immovable joints. The fibrous joints is a fixed joint where fibrous tissue comprised primarily of collagen connects bone. It means that these joints are fixed joints and here the connective tissue is actually made up of collagen, and because of this reason the joints they cannot move. The fibrous joints they are immovable and they have no joint cavity. They are present in the cranium or the skull. Here you can see that these are the joints, and we know that these joints they cannot move because they are made up of fibrous joints. They are also present in the teeth and their sockets in the mandible and maxilla. Here you can see that these are the teeth, and this part here, these are their sockets, and these sockets they cannot move and they are also fibrous joints. The second type of joints are the cartilaginous joints. The cartilaginous joints may be immovable or they may be slightly movable joints. In cartilaginous joints, the bones attach by hyaline cartilage or fibrocartilage. So two types of cartilage or the connective tissue type can be present in the cartilaginous joints, hyaline or fibrocartilage. Depending on the type of the cartilage involved, the joints are further classified into primary or secondary cartilaginous joints. So it depends on the presence which type of cartilage is present. So we have primary and secondary cartilaginous joints. First of all, primary cartilaginous joints. The primary cartilaginous joints they only involve hyaline cartilage. It means that only hyaline cartilage is present in the primary cartilaginous joints, and these joints may be slightly movable or they may be immovable. It means that both type can be present. These joints they are present between the epiphyses. The epiphysis is actually the tip part of the long bones. So in this area where it is joining with the rest of the bone, this part here it is actually made up of cartilaginous joint, and it may be slightly movable or immovable. Then comes the secondary cartilaginous joints. They may involve hyaline as well as fibrocartilage. I have already done one lesson on the type of cartilages. You can check that out. I will also share the link in the I button. The second cartilaginous joints they are slightly movable joints. The example is the pubic symphysis. This part here is the pubic symphysis where the two bones they are joining with each other and they can move slightly. The third type of joint is synovial joint. The synovial joints are freely mobile or they are freely movable joints. They are considered the main functional joints in the body. If we talk about their structure, their cavity is surrounded by fibrous connective tissues, or the type of tissue is fibrous, that is attached to each participating bones. So here you can see this is one bone, this is another bone, and here we have this synovial joint, and this is the fibrous connective tissue. The joint cavity contains the synovial fluid. So we can see here this part, this is synovial fluid, and this synovial fluid is secreted by the synovial membrane. This is the synovial membrane which lines the articular capsule. So this is articular capsule, this here you can see. So in this way we have the synovial joint. Synovial joint has the articular capsule, has synovial membrane, and this synovial membrane is forming the synovial fluid, and this synovial fluid is going to help in the reduction of friction when you move your joint. There are two types of synovial joints. First is hinge joint, the second one is ball and socket joint. The hinge joint, as indicated, that it is going to be like a hinge, the hinge which helps in the movement of your door. It allows movement in two directions. Similarly, you can open the door or you can close the door, so it is just two directional movement. What happened that in this case, one end of muscle is fixed to immovable bone on one side of the joint, while the other is attached to the far side of the joint. For example, this is our immovable bone. So here we have one muscle at the joint, while the second part of the muscle is going to be far of the joint. So in this way it's going to help in two directional movement. This type of joints, they are present in the elbow or in the knees, and you can see that you can move your arm whether away from the shoulder or whether towards your shoulder. So this is just two directional movement. Then comes the ball and socket joint. The ball and socket joint, as the name indicates, that there is going to be a ball type structure which is going to fix into a socket like this. This type of joints, they allow movement in several directions. You can see here that you can move in this direction, in this direction, in this direction. So allowing the movement in several directions. At least two pairs of muscles, they are present perpendicular to each other. It means that like this, perpendicularly they are present and they are helping in the movement, and they also provide the flexibility. These type of joints, they are present in the hips or in the shoulder joints. You can see that you can easily move your joint in 360 angle. Why? Because it has ball and socket joint. If it has only hinge joint, then you cannot move your shoulder in 360 direction. It will just be up or down. So that was our lesson on the classification of joints. If you still have any question related to this topic, you can ask me in the comment section. I will see you in the next video.